my heart of hearts is bound to you. Though I walk through valleys alone, I'll fear no evil. By the waters still my soul, my heart will trust in you. Though I walk through valleys alone, I'll fear no evil. By the waters still my soul, my heart will trust in you. My heart will trust in you. For you counsel me and you comfort me when I cannot see. You light my path. Though I walk through valleys alone, I'll fear.
UPLIFT is an urban program on livelihoods and income fortification and social civic transformation for the youth in Kampala project. Why is World Vision coming up with an urban project targeting the youth? So Uganda's urban population increased from 67.7% in 1980 to an estimated 14.8% in 2010. Old statistics, but I'm sure that the rate has even increased, the urban population increase. And I'm sure Kampala is having a very big share of that urban increase. So the goal for UPLIFT is to contribute to improved and sustained quality of life of 3,500 young people aged 13 to 25 in Rubaga and Kawempe division of Kampala City by 2017. So again, we have had a lot of conversations and discussions of the opportunities that we had from one of our donors to support World Vision to address the issues related to youth, to young people in the city of Kampala. And so we chose to work in Rubaga and Kawempe. Of course, we also know that there are many other needs in other divisions, but we chose to focus on these two divisions. And also to increase protection against abuse and exploitation, and also to increase the level of civic awareness and participation. Of course, people get worried about civic awareness, but young people need to know where can they access the services and how can they demand for those services if the services are not there. And of course, in a way that is more developmental and productive, not engaging in demonstrations and throwing stones. And then, of course, the focal areas are 4. That is livelihood, which of course also includes economic empowerment, the area of health, child protection, and civic engagement, which mainly include advocacy. And our target group is 13 to 25. Again, you'll get to know that World Vision is a child-focused organization. We want to ensure that we target children as much as possible. But of course, we know that these children are in a family environment. And so if you're going to target children, sometimes you can't leave out the youth. Some of these youth are taking care of children. Some of them are trying to make ends meet at a very young age. So 13 to 25, there are many children who are working even at the age of 13, so that's why we are targeting that.
We want to see that these young people have been equipped with the necessary livelihood skills, economic skills, so that they can be able to earn money and have basic survival skills in this urban setting. And whereas we're having the livelihood component as our major focal area, we need to see that even their rights are protected. That's why we're having this child protection component. And the economic empowerment cannot work alone if you do not give all the skills they need via sexual and productive health. So we are having another key partner who is doing that, equipping the young people with the necessary life skills so they can really live positively. And we are living in an urban setting which is a little bit too political. So we are thinking that young people should have at least some education about the civic issues that are happening in Kampala. So we want them to get that kind of leadership skill so they can be able to advocate for their rights. So after 4 years of implementation, we want to see that the young people between 13 to 25 years old have been empowered. They can speak up, and they have been well involved in not only the design of the project, but also in speaking up so that they can be able to reach out to the services that are provided not only by the implementing partners, but even the government.
Feed the children yendeese. Nange nali simanyi nti nno natuukako wano. Naye feed the children. Nali waka nga mbeera wa mami wange nga muyambako ku mirimu. Nakoma okusoma 28. Okuva mu 28 nga sirinayo ssuubi eyongerayo kusoma. Kati feed the children we yajjira. Ne tugamba egenda kuyamba abaana omwana omu okuva mu famire gye baba basiimye nga balondayo omwana omu. Kati mu famire ye waffe balondayo nze. Ne bambuuza oyagala kuyiga ki? Ku ssaawa eyo nze nali njagala kweyongerayo kusoma. Ne bangamba tekijja kusoboka. Tujja kuyigiriza omulimu gw'omu mutwe. Ne mbagamba njagala nviiri. Ne bangamba kale tugenda kuyiga enviiri. Ne wayitawo omwezi gumu nga tetunnakutandika. Ne ndowooza baatulimba. Bagenda okulaba nga bajja batuyitamu buli gwe baawandiika nga batutwala ewantu we tugenda okuyigira enviiri. Era mu myezi 6 nali mmaze okuyiga buli sitayiro y'enviiri kubanga nali nkyagala. Era mu myezi 6 nga njize buli sitayiro y'enviiri. Era buli omu ng'era nsobola okuyiga enviiri nga nsobola okusiba buli muntu sitayiro gy'aba ayagala. Kati bwe nayiga, kati wendi wano nkolera waka. Buli muntu aba yagadde nampita nangamba jangu nsibe zino enviiri. Ngenda ne musibe ewuwe. N'aba asobodde asobola okujja ewaka ne musibirawo. Buli omu waali muntuukawo, ate buli omu waali ng'agadde okujja ewaka era simugoba. Era buli wiiki nsobola okubeera n'emitwalo 2 gy'ensevinze nga tekuliiko bbanja, tekuli n'omu abanja, wabula ng'ezo zange. N'olwekyo neebaza Feed the Children ebeewo. Ate Feed the Children etutuusiza ku bintu bingi kuba nange mbadde simanyi nti natuukako wano.
Bansanga waka mbeera wa sisita wange nga ndabirira bwana bwa sisita wange. Naye olwaleero nayiga enviiri nazigira emyezi 6 nzimala. Kati nafuna omulimu nkola omulimu gwange bulungi nnyo era nfuna ssente nsobola okusevingayo wiiki emitwalo 2. Nyina basisita bange 2 bempeerera lwaleero kwekyo Feed the Children kyeyankolera. Era nsobola okwebeezaawo okwerabira. Era ne kati akanyirira okondabako kati ka Feed the Children. Buli kimu kubanga nali basita wange sikola nga sikola. Era abantuukako ne bambuuza ani ekyokola ki? Konze ndabirira abaana b'abaaba nti ofuna ki? Tewali. Ne bambuulirirawo ne bambulira ne ŋŋamba ate waliwo omukazi yaŋŋamba nti ŋŋenda mukolera wenti ne wenti. Kati ne ŋŋambamu ate bwe nnaaba sifunyeeyo 1000 lwakumbeezaawo n'akola ntya? Omwami omu n'antukako Samula Matovu n'aŋŋamba ngiriza omwaka omulamba gw'ogenda omumala nga tokwata wadde 10 ate ojja kukyenyumirizaamu. Era kaakati essaawa ya leero nkyenyumirizaamu nnyo ddala. Neebeezaawo ndabirira abantu abamu newaka kati babalwala n'aŋŋamba sooka ompeeyawo emitwalo 5 nenkikwata nengimuwa. Nange ntula nensirikira lumu ebiseera byange ebyeddembe ddala nga nsabamu essaala ne ŋŋamba naye nzaani waera asobola okusevinga emitwalo 3 nzaani asobola okuweerayo omwana emitwalo 10 yenzaani nenkyebaliza Katonda era Vision Children ebeewo
nga twebaka wansi w'ekitanda kati banene abasajja abazze okugula abamalaaya bwe bajjamu empale zaabwe bazirekawo wansi kubanga temwalimu ekifo kye basobola kuteekamu kyempale kati bwe bamala ozijjamu bafutudde no wansi w'ekitanda nga tujjamu waleti zaabwe nga tubabba afe tusigalayo nga bo bafuluma n'ekirala nga tubategawo ku myala nga tubakuba ebikonde naye najja we bwayise nali awe bwayise ne bandeetawo ku ofiisi za UDL olwamala ne bantwala e Masoli ne ntandika okusoma ebintu bya motorbike era bwe nava e Masoli nenfuna graduation nga maze okusoma era kati nakola garaji yange bw'omu kulira Gayaza.
I started working in a bar with her. I didn't know what exactly she was doing. I was working as a waitress. After some good time, she told me, you're earning little money. Why don't you start doing as what I'm doing? I tried to ask her, what are you doing? She told me that she was selling herself. And she started, as I was staying with her, I saw she was earning some little money and some good money than me. I started the same job with her. I started selling myself, but they could give me little money. Then after that, I was at home and I had someone announcing about going and testing whatever, to test yourself. And that person was saying that you come to UDEL and test yourself, see how you're standing. I went to the place where he was staying. He was staying in Bwaise. So when I went there, I found some girls and some boys. They were in a big room. They were like braiding hair, like doing what? Studying. After they tested me and I knew my status, I asked them, what are those people doing there? And they told me that they are learning hairdressing plus other courses. I asked one of the students, can you please show me where the teacher is? They took me to the teacher and I talked to her. She told me that, yes, you can come. I explained my life to her because my life was not good at all. The teacher told me that you come on Monday and start working and start learning how to plait hair or any other course you want. I came on Monday and we started. So that friend of mine chased me away from her home, that if you've refused to do my work, the job I told you, you want to go on talking about me to other people. She chased me away. I went back to my sister. When I went there, I explained to her the place where I got where I'm learning the hair. She told me, but right now I'm married, I can't stay with you. You're grown up. But I can get you some little money and you get a house in Waise. She got me 60,000 and I got a house of 2020 in Waise. I started learning in UDEL and right now, actually when we are learning, they could bring for us people, health workers, like they brought us a company called Mary Stops for the checkup. They could, they gave us the protection, how we should protect ourselves. I was good in boozing, but right now, according to what UDEL told us and what I learned from there, I stopped boozing.
My good friend, the National Director, World Vision Uganda, Mr. Gilbert Kamanga, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want first of all to apologize for unduly influencing your program. But it's basically because tomorrow is International Labor Day and it's being celebrated in Intungamo. And I'm told by people who come from there that I need about 5 hours at the minimum to be in Intungamo. And there are two things I fear as I grow older. I fear speed and I fear moving in the night. So that's the reason I requested that I can come, do what I was requested to do, then leave. The National Director, permit me first of all to extend greetings from Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and especially from the Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs, who is already excited about the program that we are about to launch. Uganda, Africa, and the world has been besieged by a catastrophe called unemployment. Unemployment is the greatest of all problems that the world faces today. Unemployment and underemployment makes a people not only hopeless, but also dehumanizes, and oftentimes people stop to think or plan beyond their daily basic needs. In Uganda, they say, "Mere ya lero." You know, literally living from hand to mouth, thinking only about what one needs today and not thinking about what one will need to invest and depend on for a long time. Different writers have said, and I quote, "That's not how much you make that matters, it's how much you make and invest that matters at the end of the day." So with unemployment and underemployment, we have a very not pleasant situation. The problem is further compounded by a population growth that is beyond the capacity of the economy to handle. High population growth, which is non-commensurate to the GDP growth and the general economic growth, is a catastrophe. Uganda actually has one of the fastest growing population in the world. At 3.2% population growth, we are the third in the world. That's after Yemen and Niger. Some people say this is not a problem. Some of us say it is definitely a problem if it's not well managed, if it's not well harnessed. The catastrophe of the situation is that we have 56% of Ugandans who produce not out of planning, but they get pregnant by accident. And I've been telling many of my colleagues who are firstborns of their mothers that it's very plausible that they were produced by mistake. Because oftentimes the first pregnancy for the ladies, many times, is not planned pregnancy. The other catastrophe is that our fertility rate still remains extremely high. At 6.7, it has gone down. It was 6.9, it is 6.7. Some writers are now telling me that it's about 5.2, that it has gone down. But we don't see this practically. To me, that is another catastrophe. The other catastrophe is that we are producing 1.66 million children every year. 1.66 million children every year. Imperial Royal is a hotel. It's possible somebody is initiating another production of a human being as we speak now. To further compound the problem, we have a teenage pregnancy rate of 24.5%. Again, the highest in sub-Saharan Africa. A quarter of all the pregnancies in this country are for girls that are under 19 years. We increasingly see early marriages, and it's not an uncommon sight to go to a village and you find two small human beings One introducing himself as a husband, another as a wife. And in between, there is another, now they call a child. When you look at it, all the three are children, but they have decided to baptize themselves differently. If we have such a population strata, it causes a lot of questions, a lot of problems than we can handle. Of course, some people may argue that there are countries now that are dying to have more people producing. Yes, there are dying races in the world. You go to Germany, you go to Italy, you go to these countries, people are not producing, so they are now given an incentive to produce. In Uganda, you don't have to give an incentive to people to produce. They will just produce anyway. The biggest problem is that the poor are producing more than the rich people. The likes of the people who are here, Josephine, director in KCCA, you'll get mesmerized if she tells you that she has only 3 children. Those are the people who would be having 10 because they have the means to. But they don't go that far. Professor Kamuntu has argued that it's because we don't have adequate power supply. So in the villages, the people eat by 6 o'clock using natural light, so they go to sleep. And when man and woman sleep in the same bed, you can imagine what is likely to happen, and especially when they sleep so early. I don't know whether that is true, but it is a theory that has been advanced by Professor Kamuntu. With the 1 billion people in Africa today, and 2.3 billion people projected for 2050, according to 2011 population datasheet, the continent's great asset or potential risk in the coming decade will be its capacity to harness this rapidly increasing reservoir of human capital. Africa, after Asia, is the world's largest and most populous continent and accounts for 15% of the world's population. Africa is also the world's leading continent with the youngest population. By 2040, Africa will have the largest workforce in the world, surpassing China and India. The question is, what type of workforce are we talking about? Are we talking about people who have the skills to transform the economy, or we are talking about people who facilitate the thinkers by sweeping and cleaning toilets? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. A large youth bulge can be an opportunity for change, progress, and social dynamism, or a risk for the continent. So as some people celebrate the big population growth, we need to think about, is it a population that is positioned to contribute towards the socio-economic growth of the continent, the socio-economic growth of Africa? And let nobody lie to you. A continent or a country can be developed better by its own indigenous human resource. No nation in the world has been developed by imported human capital. How much, therefore, have we put in positioning our labor force in this country to contribute towards robust economic growth and development? We cannot do it alone as government. I'll be telling you a lie, that government alone can manage to downgrade the profile of unemployment in this country. We need a partnership, and as government, we believe in the triple P, the public-private partnership. And I want to thank World Vision, through you, National Director, for this intervention. Of course, it is a drop in the ocean, but even a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. I was sharing with the director and telling him that poverty in urban areas is more biting than poverty in rural areas. For some of us who grew up in rural areas, you could not feel the poverty too much because you could go to the neighbor's garden and pick a mango, pick a sugar cane, pick a pawpaw, and eat. In urban areas, where do you pick the mango from? You'll be in prison. So it is fitting and it's right for us to think about this new intervention, and we hope it provide good lessons for us to help us replicate it elsewhere. I've talked about the labor market information system. When I was a small boy a number of years ago, there was only one university in Uganda. That was Makerere University. And I was fortunate to have gone to that glorious university. During those days, if you missed going to Makerere, it meant that you have missed university education. If you were born of parents who were rich, then perhaps they would export you to Tanzania, Kenya, or London. Then you'll get university education. As we speak now in Uganda, we have over 35 universities, and they are churning out people every year. The question is, what informs the different courses that they design? A labor market information system, a prudent and robust one, is supposed to inform the training and education needs of a country. If we don't have it, institutions that introduce different courses, they are just using guesswork. And it's likely that they are not answering the contemporary needs of the day. An education and training menu that is not informed by a prudent, functional labor market information system is fallacious, non-redemptive, and non-responsive to our crisis. And I want you also to know that we cannot meaningfully fight poverty with high levels of unskilled people. And I'm talking about appropriate skilling. We are also shifting from talking about people having education, we are now talking about people having quality education. And quality education means that the skills you have acquired are relevant to the development needs of the country. Anything short of that, we are dreaming. We cannot meaningfully fight poverty with high levels of unemployment of our people. In order to address the poverty question, we must altogether address, first and foremost, the unemployment question and underemployment question. UNFPA estimates that over 700 million youth between the ages of 15 and 24 are unemployed worldwide. That's a recipe for disaster. When you see things happening in the Middle East, I get extremely scared. And when I continue seeing the poor people producing more and more, I get scared. Therefore, interventions of this nature are likely to help us contribute towards finding solutions that are unique, but also responsive to the needs of our people. When you find high levels of unemployment among the young people, it is a recipe for global crisis and political anarchy. We need also to know that young Africans constitute the majority of the poor. On average, 72% of the young population in Africa live on less than $2 per day. Let me repeat this. Young Africans constitute the majority of the poor in the world. On average, 72% of the young population in Africa lives on less than $2 per day. Call that 5,000. What can you do with 5,000? and I'm talking about less than $2. So it may not be 5,000. It may be that somebody is going to live on 2,000, and you can now fathom and see what can you do with 2,000 in a day. He has rent to pay, electricity, water, he has to eat, he has to move, he has to dress. And such a population can become extremely dangerous. Frantz Fanon, in his book, The Wretched of the Earth, says that the best revolutionaries in the world are the poor, because they have nothing to lose but their rags. Those people who own no property can be a menace to the growth of a country. They can cause chaos because they have nothing to lose but only their rags. They can do anything. ILO, in one of its principles, says poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere. Nobody should sit back and say, after all, poverty is not in my house. Jeff says, with me, I cruise my Land Cruiser, and you know poverty is at bay. As long as you are surrounded by an army of unemployed people around your fence, they can do everything to climb over those high perimeter walls and cause havoc inside there as they try to eke a living from what you have earned. It therefore becomes a duty for all of us as citizens of this globe to contribute towards downgrading the profile of poverty. According to African Development Indicators 2008-2009 of the World Bank, the incidence of poverty among young people in Nigeria, Ethiopia, Uganda, Zambia, and Burundi is over 80%. And that's a total disaster. That is a total disaster. Of course, I'll be informing you that as government, we are trying to put in place different mechanisms, including the new program of the Youth Livelihood Program. I'll share the document through UMC with the director. This is our new intervention, the Youth Livelihood Program, to which we believe that you can partner with us and see how we work together. But you know, many of you have ever mopped. If you mop and the tap is open, you may mop the whole day, and you don't seem to see anything you are doing. So we are mopping, but the tap is open. So it's like we are not doing anything. But lots of interventions are in place, as I will later allude to them. I want to say that the relevance of any education system lies in its being responsive to the contemporary needs of its society. Education is only as relevant to the extent to which it provides solutions to the needs of its community. Are we therefore giving the relevant education to our people to be able to have them as answers and solutions to the contemporary needs of the day? If we are not, then we need to rethink and think about integration of life skills and soft skills that this program seeks to provide. I want also to say that human beings are equally only as important as they are a solution to the contemporary needs of society, as they are an answer, not a problem, as they do add value, not negatively impact on society. Life skills, therefore, must, among other things, teach our young people to discover the purpose of their lives and be able to set targets and goals and define a vision for themselves. If we continue seeing people who live like zombies, just wakes up like the world is waiting for him or her, has no program, has no targets, has no mission, has no vision, that's a recipe for disaster. Zig Ziglar, in one of his books, points out that if you cannot hit a target that you don't have. He also says that if you don't know where you want to go, every road will lead you there. The soft skills should, among other things, help the young people to define where they want to go. So that at the end of the day, not every road will lead them there. Many of them have led into HIV/AIDS. Some of them have died. Every day you open a newspaper, you hear a university student killed, a university student raped. Where was she? Where was she going? With whom? Which company? And a lot of other things. Do our young people have a vision, a mission, a target, a purpose in life? Have they defined their lives? Life skills must include the social skills, cognitive skills, and emotional coping skills. I do propose for your consideration the following life skills. Decision-making skills. You know, taking a decision is not automatic. There are people, even at management level, who can never sit down and decide. And authorities in contemporary thinking on management, they say, a bad decision is better than no decision at all. So can I propose that among the life skills we are considering, decision-making should be part of them. Critical thinking skills. I've asked some young people, how often do you think? Do you ever put off time to think at all? And some of them think Mondo is abusing us. Yes, sometimes I do. And Franz Fanon again teaches me in his book, The Wretched of the Earth, that shame is a revolutionary sentiment. Unless young people become ashamed about the situation in which they live, they can never change that situation. If they are happy about how they live their lives and what they do every day, then they can never change. When they get ashamed about their lives and what they are doing, then they can change their lives. Critical thinking. If they don't think at all, can we teach them to put off time every day, an hour or two, to think, to reflect on their lives, and to plan for their lives? And another author pointed out that your history should not determine your destiny. There are young people who are there, they are in, I cannot say comfort zone, but they're in a situation where they say, you know, I'm living in the third generation of poverty. My grandparents were poor, my father was poor, I'm poor, I'll pass on the poverty to my children, and it becomes cancerous, and they get used to this poverty that they don't think about changing the situation in which they live. Once we reach that situation, then it becomes extremely ominous. And it becomes important for us to find ways and means of changing such a situation. I've been telling them issues of being innovative, creative, and I ask them, have you ever created anything? Or do you have any original idea? Can you point at an idea that you created, or something you say, this is originally Mondo's thinking? And it's worse with the children of the rich. The children of the poor, out of need, they try to create something. He wants a ball, he will find fiber, banana fibers and whatever, and do a ball. The sons and daughters of directors, like director, national director, World Vision, they buy the balls from the supermarket. They buy the dolls and toys from the supermarket. And those things never last a day. The day they are bought is the day these guys try their now creativity in destroying them. So the following day, you have to go back to the supermarket and buy another. The children of the poor try their brains on creating something out of need. Critical thinking, planning. Many times they say thinking out of the box. I propose throwing away the box. Problem-solving skills is yet another soft skill that I propose. Problem-solving skills. Are you a solution or a problem society? Young people must be asked this question. There are young people who are seeking to create a problem to society. They need to ask themselves whether they are a solution or a problem to society. They need to ask themselves, if you don't exist, what would the world miss? They equally need to be asked early in life that with your goal and vision, what do you, if you died today, what do you propose to us to write on your tombstone? As the greatest defiler, here lies the greatest defiler that ever existed in the world. Would that be what we write on your tombstone? Here lies the best drunkard of all ages. Is that what we should write on your tombstone? You hear a number of young people say, you know, people around here don't take me serious. Why should they, if you have nothing serious that you propose? Society is not a trash bin that you just bubble any nonsense and you want me to take you serious. No, we will not. Society sieves. That again is related to critical thinking and analytical skills. You don't just say anything and you say, you know, people here don't take me serious. Why should we take you serious if there is nothing serious you are proposing? The world is not a trash bin. Effective communication is yet another life skill that is important. I have, in my course of duty, interacted with some young people. He comes and he wants something, but he cannot communicate to enable you know what he or she wants. And you'll shudder, you'll find that he's waving. He has a degree, he has a transcript. He's from the university, and it becomes a disaster. One young man came to my office. He had completed a university degree in one of the universities around here. He had been sent to me by a friend to try to see whether I could find him a job. So I told him, okay, what you do, go and write an application letter to so and so and so. The first disaster was when he said, Mr. Mondo, can you help me with an empty paper? I said, what? He said, can you help me with an empty paper? I didn't carry a paper with me. Anyway, I gave him an empty paper because I also knew that he was emptying his head. Now the second disaster happened when he went to write an application letter. It was a total disaster. You could not decipher anything from what he had written. It was again an empty application letter. So I called in my messenger and I said, can you go and help this graduate man to write an application letter? But before that, I asked him, do these papers belong to you? He said, yes, Mr. Mondo, yeah, they are my papers. I said, are you sure? He said, yes. Anyway, he went with my messenger and they wrote an application letter which was 90 times better than the letter that the graduate had written. And these are the skills that the employers are now looking for. It's not just the hard technical skills. It is the life skills and the soft skills that I'm about to propose to you as well. Capacity to cope with stress, stress management. I mean, if you had a problem with your girlfriend, you don't bring your problems to the place of work. Manage your stress in a manner that does not disorganize the way you deliver. I've seen people, even older people. He had a problem with the husband. He comes to the office and is venting his anger or her anger on everybody who crosses his path. Those are bad behaviors. How do we enable them to manage their stress and not disrupt productivity of the enterprise? coping with emotions, skills of self-evaluation and self-awareness. This must include the recognition of one's self-esteem, internal locus of control, definition of self. Who are you? What is your personal brand? During tea break, I was talking to colleagues about the branding. Do young people know that they are a brand of themselves? But what type of brand are they? That's the other. Is it a brand that is competitive? But if it is competitive, at what level? There are people in the world who are competitive in their villages. Somebody is very competitive at village level. Take him to county level, he cannot compete. There was a song, Ania Kumanyi, who knows you beyond your village? Are you a village brand or a global brand? Can you attract brand loyalty, but to which market? I want to move towards concluding. When we are talking about who are you, and people have talked about, oh, that man is good. Is good enough? Isn't there a word called great? Why can't you strive? Why can't we position these people to strive towards being great other than being very comfortable with being good? Good is not good enough. Because if good was good enough, then words like great wouldn't have been thought about. I want to aver in this discussion that the real heroes of any revolution are not those who fall off during the initial stages of a revolution. The real heroes are those who drive the revolution one stage to another. Are we preparing our young people to be that category of people who will shift the gears of this country from being a peasant-led economy to being a middle-income country? Great men are not those who get blown away by the storm. Great men are those who withstand great storms and emerge victorious and hardened in the face of any rational and logical being. I want also to propose that in addition to the above, I propose integration of soft skills as well in the UPLIFT program. For purposes of this audience, soft skills is a term often associated with a person's IQ, emotional intelligence quotient. Soft skills complement hard skills. They are about inner knowing, insights, and include, but are not limited to the following: courtesy. How courteous are you as a human being? Honesty, reliability, flexibility, team skills, cooperation, adaptability, good attitude. Somebody says that your attitude determines your altitude. Do our people have a good attitude? Do they? Writing skills. I've told you about my disaster of a person who couldn't write his application letter. Can our young people write? Are they dependable? Personal energy and drive. How much supervision do they need? Can they drive the course of actions unsupervised by the National Director of World Vision? Do they need Jeff as director to be able to say, you must do this? Must we apply Wumbwa management? Management by walking around. Personal integrity, positive work ethics. They have described Uganda as one of the less productive labor force in our region. And the issue is about work ethics. Sometimes we take on too much, and sometimes we spend a lot of time, you call it KB, Kabozi, Lugambo, Wolokoso. Somebody leaves his office, he comes to your office, and he says, By the way, did you watch that match? That should be for after 6, after work. Some people bury every day. And sometimes they bury imaginary. He forgets that he told the organization that his dad died 5 years ago. He says, oh, my dad has died. But you told us last year your dad died. And I say, well, you know, in Africa, we have so many dads. Somebody's burying every day. When do you work? When do you work? Did I employ you to be there burying every day? There are people whose cups are full and they are not willing to learn. But the world, you need continuous learning. There are new things happening every day. Common sense. They say common sense is not common to everybody, much as is common sense. You find somebody, does he have common sense at all? Critical thinking, time management, accountability, tenacity, understanding what the world is all about. There are people whose definition of the world is their village. There are young people in Uganda. He was born in Masaka. He has never crossed Karuma. So his thinking of the world is either Uganda or West Nile or Busoga. And so to tell that person to stretch his mind to know that there is even other people who live beyond Africa, it becomes, you are stretching the mind too far. Somebody is born in Butambala. He goes to school in Butambala. He goes to the TTC in Butambala. He gets married to a man in Butambala. He starts teaching in Butambala. I mean, what type of person do you imagine that one is going to be? Butambarian. His mind, thinking, and everything will be limited to that. Commitment to lifetime learning is therefore very important. And finally, the young people must be reminded that in the world you don't always get what you want, but you get what you work for. And the world does not owe you a living. And like one of the former American presidents said, before you ask what the nation has done for me, ask yourself, what have you done to the nation? Mr. National Director, World Vision, those are the very few things that I thought I would share with you as we launch this very important, innovative program, Uplift. And I have no doubt in my mind, Mr. Gilbert Kamanga, my old friend, that as it does succeed, like I know it will succeed, as government we shall move with you. If you decide to run, we shall run with you. If you decide to sprint, we shall sprint with you. Because we know and appreciate that urban poverty is very acidic. It's filthy. It smells. You go these places in Kisenyi, you go those places in Kawempe, you see poverty looking straight in your eyes, about to jump on you. You get scared. So as government, we want to appreciate this intervention. And our prayer is that it will live to spread to other urban centers. As government, we have been negotiating with the European Union, and we have managed to get $3 million, which is also geared towards fighting urban poverty among the young people. The program will be launched very soon, but at least the signing of the money, $3 million to start with for 2 years, this money has been received. It's for poverty in urban areas to start with. And we are saying that in whatever we do, let's integrate sexual reproductive health in our programs. We are not going to meaningfully dent poverty if young people, you find a young person of 30 years, he has 10 children. No, you can't manage. You cannot be an entrepreneur if you are going to spend all your money on looking or rearing children. Can I appeal to you that we integrate sexual reproductive health in this intervention? And we also integrate the soft skills in this program. And we do everything possible to preach that HIV/AIDS still lives and still kills, and that we are yet to have the cure. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your kind attention to me. God bless you, and I wish you the best of luck. On behalf of the government of the Republic of Uganda, we do officially launch UPLIFT. UPLIFT, supporting urban youth with life skills to increase their employment opportunities, to be competitive at all levels, to be implemented in Rubaga and Kawempe divisions by Feed Africa, UDEL, Feed the Children, UNED, NODIP, YSA, Emmanuel International, and KCCA. Thank you. I'm directed to sign. And after I have signed, Director KCCA, Director World Vision, and then the rest, you have to come to sign to express your commitment to supporting this program, but also to commit yourself to looking for more resources to go beyond Rubaga and Kawempe.
So when we talk about empowering youths, for us, we become so interested in such projects. We want to do a lot of work in the city, but we don't have the resources. So when we get good people to come and help us with this problem, we are really excited about it. This afternoon, as Task talk about the employment opportunities within the city for youths, and that's what I will concentrate on. As KCCA, we have the mandate of creating awareness of the youth's needs, empowering the youth with knowledge, skills, resources to enable them become self-reliant through IGAs, and to contribute to development by connecting them to employment opportunities, encouraging them to participate in civic or community affairs, empowering them to participate in sporting activities, and to take on leadership roles. What is our focus? When we came in to KCCA, we were tasked to implement the Youth Fund. I think that was the main program we had at that time. And when we decided to roll it out, we got a lot of backlash from the youths. And I think you heard in the papers on a daily basis, youths rioting, demonstrating across the city. They want their money. They want their money, it's government money, we should give it to them. Without regulations, procedures, that was not their business. So out of that saga, we realized that the first thing we need to deal with is the mindset change of these communities. Because if the youth has this thinking that government is there to support me, government is my father or mother, they will never move. They will never take decisions. They will never do anything to make themselves better. So our focus, one is the mindset change. If my sister's here, what's her name? Nisha, did not get to a point where she said, what I'm doing is not good. Let me change to this direction. She wouldn't be here, or she would not be talking about the benefits that have accrued since she made the right decision. So for us, we believe that mindset change should be integrated in every program. Like our guest of honor has been talking about the life skills. Those are about changing the mindsets of these youths. The second one is leadership. It's also another focus that we have. Improving livelihoods, which is all about employment. And then addressing all these other needs in a holistic manner. Health, education, protection, civic engagement. We also look at that. How do we change this youth? First of all, the mindset, plus also, like Mr. Mondo said, remaining healthy, plus also looking at the skills that they have, the skills set that they have, so that they can also participate in development programs, or even determining the leadership of the country, civic engagement. What are the current youth empowerment opportunities we have? First of all, we have the Employment Services Bureau. I think you've heard about it. The president launched it last week. It's just here at Seziwa Road, opposite City Bank. And we've set it up as a space where youths can go and learn, get skills. So Nisha, you need to find that place because you need more skills. We are looking at offering practical skills, plus also life skills. We are looking at offering ICT skills. We are looking at building the individual, that if you go for an interview, what is it that you need to prepare for you to be able to go through an interview and go and be successful on your job. We are looking at information exchange. We are looking at job canvassing, because people look at KCC as providing opportunities for employment for youths, and there are so many that flood our offices coming for employment. So we need to find where the employers are, and we link these youths to those employment opportunities that could be available. Then we have mentorship programs for youth that will be coming in. So for us, the Bureau, we want to make it as active as possible, and to ensure that youths that go through the Bureau become very active citizens. Then we also have the ICT and leadership training with UN Habitat and Kibo Foundation. It's a leadership program that has trained about 350 youths in the city, and we are trying to train even more. And We've seen youths change through this program. We have stories of youths that came to our offices during the youth fun time saga. They came and ate the policeman's posho. I think you saw that on the TV. And so those are some of the youths we picked and took them to this program, and they trained them. The program covers basic IT training. It has youths that have decided to go into computer maintenance and repair. It has a very key component on leadership and mindset change. It has a component on community service, and I think we need to incorporate that into our programs. When these youths go, they are told you need to give back to your communities. So every Wednesday during the training, they go to different communities in Kampala, they clean up all these places, they join communities in whatever activity, community work that is there. And this kind of tells the youth that, you need to work and give back to your community, free of charge. So it has changed a lot of mindsets for the youth, that even when you're at home, you're responsible for cleaning your own home, because they don't clean where they come from. Their places are dirty, just around their home. So when they go back, they start cleaning their homesteads. Then it has another component on fundraising, still part of giving back to communities. During the training component, it takes about 10 weeks, and during that time, they're supposed to raise money for a community project. So they go out to different companies, they do different activities, car washes, walking and selling sumbusa, and they raise money for a community project, which they decide on. And they've done many across the city, like helping babies' homes with certain equipment, helping schools with books in the library. Recently, they are finalizing a greenhouse in Kisasi, one of our public UPE schools. And the greenhouse will create income, will generate income for the school. So it's a project we are going to launch. But it has been set up by resources raised by the youth through this program. Then we have entrepreneurship skills, where they help them go through identifying what is it that they can do to generate income. They start right from the start of the program, and they take them through. And by the time they complete the program, they know what they want to do in life. If Nisha comes into this program, she doesn't know what she can do to generate income for herself. By the time she goes out of the program, she knows, I want to get into saloon, and she knows where to raise the money from. So that is a leadership program that we think is good. It has helped so many youths in Kampala to change their behaviors and also to make them more focused. Then we have the famous Youth Fund, which is available, but it's being managed by Centenary Bank. We released 3.3 billion to Centenary Bank, and the target is youths residing in the city across the 5 divisions. And we normally give them a maximum of 2 million for individual borrowers. And for groups, we offer 10 million. And currently, the bank has disbursed 2.5 billion for over 1,700 youths. And you know, banks, they only offer to serious youths that show that they have the capacity to work and expand their businesses and then be able to pay back the loans. So what we do, when the youths go through the programs I've talked about, the leadership and ICT, and they decide to do some business, we tell them, okay, you need to find the startup capital. They find the startup capital, and then we link them to Centenary Bank, which gives them loans to expand that particular business. So under this program, I think we should also do those connections so that we move youth from one level to another. Then we have the famous Youth Livelihood Program that our guest of honor has talked about. It's, we're doing the final modalities for the program to start, but it will be offering loans up to 12.5 million to youth groups between 10 to 15 individuals. And the target is youths aged between 18 and 30 years. And they should be either dropouts from schools and training institutions, youths living in slums, city streets, high-risk and impoverished communities, youth who have not had the opportunity to attend formal education, single-parent youth, youths with disability, youths living with HIV/AIDS, youths who have completed secondary school or tertiary institutions but remained unemployed. And as KCCA, we've been allocated 1.1 billion for the year 2013-2014, and we hope to disperse it to 106 community groups. We also have the community-driven development program. In the past, women's groups have benefited from that grant much more than the youths, but these days we are trying to get as many youth groups to get that grant because it's not repayable and it will directly expand their incomes. What is our delivery structure like as KCCA? At the directorate level, we have the director gender, who is responsible for youths, and then the deputy director, and then we have a supervisor youth, who is not here today. And then we have the youth officers. If they could stand up for recognition, we have the youth officers, Kawempe, from Machindye, from Lubaga, and Central Divisions here. So for all, they are the focal persons for all our youth-related activities in the divisions. And feel free to get in touch with them for this program. What are our expectations from the partners or from Uplift? We hope that we shall endeavor to incorporate the mindset change program into our training programs, if it's not there. 2, we hope that we shall implement holistic programs, and this will be achieved through creating networks and linkages with other service providers. If we are doing SRH, and we are doing economic empowerment, and we are doing child protection and civic engagement, what are other needs that we can't provide, that we can leverage resources from other partners that are already in that area? So we need to think about broadly and see what services we are not going to be able to provide under Uplift, such that at the end of the project, we know we've supported this youth in a holistic manner. Then our other expectation is coordination with all other players to avoid duplication of services. This is very key. Currently, we have a plan that is also going to implement a project, and it's in the same area. So we are saying we need to get on the table and agree. Either we work in certain parishes or we go into another area. And I think that discussion is healthy so that we don't duplicate services in just a few divisions, yet there are other deserving divisions as well. So those are the employment opportunities that we have currently, empowerment opportunities that we have for youths in the city, but we rely more on the partners because the problem is huge. We are talking about a population of, the resident population in Kampala is about 4 million, but 60% of that population is youth between the ages of 18 and 35. And most of them do not work, they are at home, or they are roaming from division to division, and they come into our offices daily, and they are demanding for services, which services we cannot offer. So I really take this honor to thank World Vision with this Uplift program that is going to support us. I believe at the end of the day, we shall have, we talked about 3,500 youths that we shall have touched, and I hope we shall be able to move them from, we shall have more niches, or I forget his name. Yeah, we shall have Erics who can come, the 3-5 can come here and testify at the end of the day. And we don't even stop there. At this point, Nisha needs more support, even beyond what she got at UDEL. How will the KCCA link Nisha to other programs that we have so that even she moves from hairdressing and maybe she even decides to go back to school because there are such opportunities. There is USE. We also have the functional adult literacy programs within the city. So thank you so much for listening to me. Questions?
If I'm going to work with people in the informal sector, I would really love to know how many people in the urban sector, in the informal sector, how many people in the urban sector are in the formal sector, how many are educated and not educated. It's a bit complicated, but it's a discussion worth undertaking, because it's very, very important for us to have at least a fair reflection of statistical data for us to effectively and efficiently serve young people within their interests.
I got the information about this program that many young people go to divisions and they pick forms, but very few are taken to these programs. Another one is just a request. Why don't you decentralize these programs? Now, like on each and every division, that okay, people from Lubaga, they are trained in Lubaga, people from Central, people from Nakawa. I think it will be very easy for these young people to enroll in these programs.
World Vision as an institution, we are child-focused, but we have in most cases rural-based. This is not the first urban program we have in Uganda. We have other urban programs. And we had at one point a Kampala program, but of late we have not been doing much. So I want to thank the partners who are here with us. Why do I say that? Because an urban poverty is complex. Urban program is complex. So we need KCCA, you are the custodian in the urban setup, especially in Kampala here. I want to thank, I will not mention all your names, but just to say thank you so much for this coming, but also I want to thank the team which has been working tirelessly on this program. This project is funded by the Australian government, passing through in Australia and coming to us in Uganda. So we also thank the taxpayers in Australia who are, through their faithful tithe and tax paying, we can have a program like this one here in Uganda. Now, why focusing on young people? I think I don't need to bore you with statistics. It's clear. Uganda is a youthful nation. Average age of 15. You can't beat that if you're describing a youthful nation. So I talk at my workplace. They know this, those who are here. I am not stranger to maternity leave, weddings, because it's a youthful nation. So Uganda being a youthful nation, we therefore need to focus on the young people. Why urban? Urban is a concentration of poverty. As Mondo said earlier on, the poverty in the urban setup is different than the rural. Therefore, the UPLIFT program for us in World Vision Uganda, we see it as a project which can focus both on the social and economic entrepreneurial skills. So, Madam Director from KCCA, you're right. We need to focus on the social skills as well. Young people have been described as transient. So people want to just to see the young people and use them for their political gains. But we want that as people who are committed to the well-being of children and of young people, we build their capacity to be the future and the present. One young person, I used to be working in the youth sector before, says to me, Gilbert, I have heard about this, that young people are leaders of tomorrow, but I want to be a leader today. So young people were demanding to us, they want to be leaders today. They're not looking for tomorrow. They want the leaders to be leaders today. Therefore, through this program, other program which both the government and social and the civil society are doing, we need to prepare our young people to be leaders today. Let's not wait for tomorrow. We need to start them being leaders today. Somebody says we have poor governance within the NGO, the government, the church, because we are not focusing on young people. We want them to come and sing. very wonderful praise and worship at church. There are people who can come and dance at the functions. That's where it ends. We are not focusing them to become leaders of today. Somebody says, how can you want to be a president? You have never been a prefect at a school. You want to run a corporate, you have never even run a grocery. So we lack that capacity to govern at a higher level because we don't focus on providing opportunity for young people to be leaders today. World Vision will work with both the government in this project, as we do in other projects, business sector, civil society, but also church and other faith groups. As a Christian organization, we are driven by our mandate that we are Christians. But that does not mean that we provide service to only Christians. Nor does it mean we only partner with Christians. We partner also with different faith groups because we believe that the worldview of an individual is very key for them to do whatever is useful to them. So in this project, you see quite a number of partners coming, working at different levels. Some will be long-term, some will be events-related, but we want to see that this project becomes a catalyst for many things. Madam Director, you mentioned about the issue of coordination, and Tom, you raised the same question about partnerships. How do we coordinate? I strongly feel that one contribution with this project should contribute is exactly that aspect of coordinating at the division level. Urban work does not require us to protect our territories. Urban work wants us to be transparent, to be vulnerable, to be open. You cannot solve an urban poverty issue with a single intervention. It requires different actors. And we're talking at the table here that urban programming, I would say maybe let's say it this way. Most of us as development agencies, we have failed in urban programming because we have taken a rural approach into the urban setup. An urban setup requires on trust. If a person is not trusted, they will not confide in them. Therefore, let's use those who are trusted as links to different other services. So as Madam Director, we are talking about here to say, let's ensure that the youth graduate from one program to the other. We develop linkages. That's what we want to see in this program, that we develop linkages. Lastly, I didn't say I'm ending, but I said lastly. It could be lastly A, B, C, D, or whatever. My challenge to the partners is that youth work in most organizations or in Africa is not seen as a profession. Anybody thinks they can be a youth worker because I am a father, I'm a pastor, I am passionate, or I'm an adult. So Mondo, as you see, he knows I am passionate about youth work because I strongly believe that even if you have a passion, have the basics, what it means to work with young people. At least have the basics. The fact that I'm an adult doesn't mean I can handle youth work. I'm even failing to handle my own 2 children. Dad, you are too slow. You are explaining too much. Just tell me. Me, I want to explain, this is my history and so forth. So all I'm challenging us here, colleagues, is that as we work through this partnership, let us strengthen the competency of working with young people. Programs in urban setup require to be dynamic and organic. So if you look at the design of this project, some of you may be asking questions, then what is being done here? We are starting a program. We are starting a journey. As things evolve, some things will be dropped off, some will be added. We need an organic program which is reflecting the context changes of the young people. The needs of an 18-year-old and a 22-year-old are different. But the same person was 18 4 years ago, now he's 22. So if you plan a 4-year program or a 3-year program on an 18-year now, that same person is 22 or is now 20 after 2 years. You need quite a different way of doing business. So colleagues, all I would want to call us is that let's make the young people be listened to. Young people want to be involved. They want to participate. And as a way forward, I am looking forward to a time whereby I will not sit or talk in this type of environment. We need to go where work is. Let's have a discussion with more young people, as we have been sharing with them in Kawempe, Luanch, wherever we want to be. Our commitment to KCCA is that this is a starting point for us, or a restarting point for us in urban programming. Our desire is that we expand. We don't have the resources, but they say where there is a, you can finish the statement depending on the language where you come from. Others say where there is a will, there is a way. Others, they say what they want to do, but we are committed to the fact that we want to see the program expanding. Expanding both in depth, that's the reach, but also in the coverage, in the width, in the breadth of it. Reaching out to many people. 80% of our graduates every year in Kampala are not finding jobs. 80% is quite a huge figure. How do we ensure that we are able to provide some meaningful employment to them? So the way forward for us is that this project becomes a catalyst for partnerships, catalysts for coordination, catalyst for expansion. And I think I should stop there, because if I keep on continuing, then I said lastly, when you were last. So I want to say thank you so much for coming. And let this be a starting point for many greater things which the Lord has in store for us, both as partners but also as individuals. Let's practice what we learn at home. Let's not just become signposts, but we become actors in our own right. So thank you so much, and may God bless you. Thank you.
In partnership with World Vision, we would like to do the life skills, which is also with the Understanding True Love. And we have materials that we can help with the young people of how they can know who they are, and also the spiritual component with Explorer Club materials. So we are hoping that through this program that we will be able to help the young people, to empower them of how they can be a good citizen and be productive citizen of Uganda in the future. Thank you so much.
Oh, you mourn with me and you dance with me, for my heart of hearts is bound to you. Though I walk through valleys alone, I'll fear no evil. By the waters still my soul, my heart will trust in you. Though I walk through valleys alone, I'll fear no evil. By the waters still my soul, my heart will trust in you. My heart will trust in you. For you counsel me and you comfort me when I cannot see